Hello, Tigers fans. Welcome to another night of USN hockey. Tonight we have the Tigers playing against the Ensworth Tigers here at Bellevue.
Yeah, this should be a tough matchup for USN. I know Ben Schneider was in goal last game, but we're excited to see Paul Mary back in the net starting off again.
And that's a big change against a good team. USN's coach did warn about this being a especially tough matchup, as just 20 seconds in, we have a delayed penalty. USN is headed on the power play already as Paul Mary began to skate to the net, but the puck was touched up pretty quickly.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this goalkeeper competition plays out in the team as the season goes on. Paul Mary is obviously the veteran, but Schwartz has shown some flashes of good goalkeeping.
And it does say a lot that Schwartz has played in the big games against good teams. It was a pretty commanding win on Monday. Not score-wise, but dominant performance. And now we have Paul Mary back in net. USN has their first seconds of the power play here, as Ensworth already generates a chance of their own, headed the other direction.
What a save by Paul Mary there. Already getting in the action early on.
Yeah, it was a nice pass across there, and Paul Mary was forced to quickly move towards the middle. So about 30 seconds into the power play here, we already have Lipscomb generating some offense of their own, despite being a man down. Oh, wow, a lacrosse shot attempt by the Lipscomb attacker. They're able to get the rebound from that and put another shot on net, but USN's headed the other way. Barrett takes it into the attacking zone, loses the handle on it, but Laird is pretty aggressive on the forecheck here. Lipscomb is having a nice buildup of their own into USN's offensive zone. Nice move up the left side. Loses possession. Barrett's fighting for it to Paul Mary's left. They're able to generate a little bit space towards the middle. Nice pass across. They're not able to get a shot off. Venable and Barrett in the corner. Pass up to the blue line. Shot from the point. Paul Mary's able to cover.
As a food insider, I will say a common question I'll ask Paul Mary in the mornings in the fitness center when he's getting his work in. I'll ask, what'd you have for breakfast this morning, Jordan? Most of the time he'll say nothing, but he says the only time that he'll eat breakfast is when his mom leaves a blueberry muffin on the table. I sure hope he had that blueberry muffin this morning, as this may be the toughest matchup he's faced.
It's well said. Speaking of food, no, let's have a little bit of a review of this Bellevue Ford Ice Center food quality.
Yeah, Noah Kim didn't get a chance to have the food last time. He's waiting for his order right now. But Bennett and I believe, would you get the pretzel last time?
Correct.
What would you rate that?
I would say it's 7 out of 10, and that's generous.
Yeah, and then what did I get? Oh, the Hunt's Brothers Pizza. That was, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. It felt like being at a Preds game. So far the food's been great.
And really, you got to consider the experience as well. I mean, the Hunts brother feels like you're at a Nashville Predators game. I mean, it's not all about the food quality. As in the game, we have USN's power play expiring here. Lipscomb dominated the chances early here, as USN is forced to ice the puck. But it is called off, actually. And Denning's up there to fight for it. Barrett with a nice tip away. Generates a shot of his own. It was a tight angle, but forces the goalie into a pad save. As the pass now gets away from the USN defender, Lipscomb's headed the other way. It's just over Paul Mary's glove and ends up wide. Profits now behind Paul Mary.
USN sort of off to a slow start. I think they all need a little bit more blueberry muffins in their lives.
That is one way of saying it. Nice sliding pass by Denning up to Barrett, who's been on the ice quite a bit so far tonight. Venable, big hit at mid-ice. Levels the Lipscomb attacker as Osgner now has the puck. It's taken away at mid-ice. Lipscomb now with a 2-on-3 headed the other way. Takes it behind Palmieri. Now dangling behind the net. Able to beat a defender. Gets a forehand off. But Venable makes a nice defensive play to get it out of the zone. And nice stick handling to clear it by himself. The dump in behind the net. It's collected by USN. Osgner up the right boards. Looks for the clear pass to Dixon, but it's deflected away, and USN now clears the other way as Lipscomb's goalie collects behind the net. The through pass by Lipscomb is intercepted by Profit at half ice. And USN's starting to settle in here a little bit. Sorensen up the left side. Has a man in the middle. A great move and nice save. Looks like it went into the chest of the goalie, but a fantastic move to get central onto his backhand.
This game, obviously it's a tough matchup for USN, but I think it means a little more than just a game for a lot of these players. I talked to Aiden Osgner's brother, Evan, and he said that Aiden plays with two of the defenders for Ensworth on their travel team, so this is more than a regular game for him. It'll be a rivalry type situation.
Does kind of remind me of this upcoming Vikings-Bills game when Stefan Diggs will face his former team. Well, there's definitely just a little more to it.
Good hit.
That was a nice hit along the boards as Lipscomb clears behind the USN net. Pass up to Wagner up the left side. Makes a nice connecting pass in the middle. USN, no numbers up, but they're trying to generate an attack. USN now has numbers up behind their own net. Able to clear up the right boards, but it gets away from them. Lipscomb looks for a shot from the point. Nice pass to Palmieri's right. And a nice shot, a quick wrister off a nice centering pass is saved by Palmieri. Now in the right corner of the zone. Nice pass to the slot. Pass is broken up. Wagner's nearly able to clear. Lipscomb's using their speed here to get to the slot once again. Second effort. Looks like it's saved by Palmieri, but there's still some fighting behind the net.
Yeah,
And
number 10 on Lipscomb seems to be their dynamic playmaker. Who do you guys have winning that Vikings-Bills game?
I mean, even if Josh Allen isn't playing, I got the Bills. I mean, they're too dominant. I don't care. Case Keenum has experience, too.
And to me, that is a very interesting take, saying that Case Keenum could beat the Minnesota Vikings. Top 3 team in the NFC. Easily the best team in the NFC North. Bills are a complete team, but we'll get back to that later. As Laird's generating a bit of a forecheck here, largely by himself. He now helped out by Crane. Lipscomb's able to clear it. Got numbers up on the right side. Gets by Barrett, and offside is called. And another thing I spoke to Palmieri about this morning in our pregame chat, talking about today's opponent, was actually a little bit of off-topic conversation regarding Josh Allen. He mentioned that this elbow injury he's dealing with right now is something he's already actually overcome before. But regardless, Jordan's a little bit concerned about the Bills. I mean, can you blame him? That was a little bit of a breakdown there against the Jets. USN's now generating some nice possession in the offensive zone. Profit's able to find Crane on the left, but his pass is intercepted. Lipscomb's now headed the other way, but Venable shuts that down very quickly. Venable now with the puck. Nice physicality to continue holding on to it. Over to Profit, who's headed up the left side with Barrett to his left. Crane in the middle. Now sends it behind the net for Barrett, who's met by 3 Lipscomb defenders. Does well to stick with it there. Crane dumps it in once again. Barrett's there to collect again. Looks for the centering pass. It does get to Crane. Sneaks to Laird. And somehow that doesn't find the back of the net. Looks like maybe a bit of a deflection there. But a nice sequence there for USN. Their best of the game.
USN playing efficient on both offense and defense early on in this game. You love to see it. Hopefully they can keep it up.
And as has been a theme this season, the USN line is generating some really nice chances so far. Here we have Sorensen and Dixon behind the USN net. Outlet to Venable. Now looks across the middle. Back to Sorensen, who's headed up the right side. One defender on him. Not quite able to execute the toe drag, but it falls to Osgener. Now Sorensen behind the net. Centering pass for Dixon. And USN takes a 1-0 lead. Sorensen with a really nice centering pass to Dixon, who's able to just sneak it in just below the goalie's glove side.
Yeah, USN seems really well oiled right now. It doesn't seem like just one individual talent. They're really playing as a team on offense, and it's something I like to see from this USN team. We usually start slow. They're showing a lot of chemistry today.
And definitely this has to do with the mentality that was instilled in them before this game. And in an interaction I had with their head coach earlier before this game, he seemed positive, and I think that reflects the whole team's mindset. They're looking at this like it's another game. They're not looking at the opponent like it's something they haven't seen before.
And here we have a nice chance by Osgener, but also a pretty nice glove save there. It was a backwards pass that got through the Lipscomb defender's legs. Osgener found himself with a one-on-one with the goalie.
That really was quite the save from the Lipscomb goalie.
That was a pretty professional-looking glove save. That put USN to 7 shots for the night so far. About 9 minutes into the contest. 5 for Lipscomb so far. Lipscomb wins the face-off. Looking for an outlet pass, but nothing's there. Still trying to clear, and they are able to get it out. They now have a 3-on-1 developing. Profits back. A man to his right and left. Looks for the centering pass, and a really unfortunate deflection. Ties the game at 1. Lipscomb looked for the centering pass, but it looks like it just got caught up in the defender's stick or skate, and Paul Mary was caught a little off guard, as would be expected.
An unfortunate series of events right there, but hopefully USN can keep their head high. Been playing well this game.
Yeah, it seems a theme. They seem susceptible to the counterattack. USN does. Just need to tighten up on the back end.
And really, when they commit that many men forward on the forecheck, much like Coach Jones, the importance he places on at least 2 men getting back after the offensive shot, USN needs to instill some sort of rule about making sure defenders are not left out to dry, so to say. Lipscomb now with some sustained possession. Looks for another centering pass. Palmieri makes 2 back-to-back saves. But Lipscomb has USN on their heels here. Another shot sneaks through to Palmieri, but he's able to deflect it wide, and Profit's able to get it clear. Only to mid-ice, though, and USN's able to get 1 change, but Lipscomb's definitely got some speed on the ice here. Dump in behind the net. And Wagner's now looking to clear. There are 3 Lipscomb defenders in close proximity. Looks like we have an icing call coming up against USN, as they were able to get it clear, but
I'm surprised to see number 10 for Lipscomb come off in that series. He really seemed like a promising talent, and he seems like their main playmaker. Lipscomb will need a lot of that this game against the high-powered USN offense.
it's something that's become evident as this game has gone on is when the Lipscomb players with the golden helmets check into the game, there's definitely something to keep an eye out for, because they have speed and they have talent. The junior Preds is really it's a sign that it's going to be a tough game. Crane looks for Barrett behind the Lipscomb net. Barrett's now fighting for it on the right side. Just sneaks out. Lipscomb now has a 2-on-2, but Crane is able to shut it down quickly. A little bit of back and forth here in the neutral zone. And really, each team is kind of struggling to gain sustained possession here. But Crane is able to dump it in, and it does take a pretty weird bounce, forcing the Lipscomb goal into a cover. And with 3:30 remaining, USN has a face-off in their offensive zone.
It is interesting to me how the players on the junior Preds get to wear a different colored helmet than the rest of their team. Like, it's a little stupid to me. I mean, it's a team sport at the end of the day. There's nothing like you're doing. Like, you just shouldn't have that difference. You should all be united as a team. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. It's about the mentality, of cohesion.
Right.
And we'll see how USN's mentality allows them to overcome them in this game.
Maybe that could be some foreshadowing. Maybe Lipscomb is a less connected team, per se. Not on the same page as often.
You know, I see as a disconnected team, the Minnesota Vikings. I know the record says otherwise, but if you look at the strength of their schedule, I see mostly very easy wins.
Strength of schedule means nothing in the NFL, but we'll get to that later. As USN does have their second power play of the night here, and it's already off to a better start than the first as they win the face-off, and Osgner looks like he's able to get a backhand off.
Building off that point, I think the Vikings are fortunate to have a noon game against the Bills this week. Kirk Cousins, it's known by the media and the public that he doesn't seem to play well when it's night games. So I think they're lucky that they have a noon game.
Lipscomb now with a incredible burst of speed through two USN defenders, and they take the 2-1 lead here, despite being a man down. And I say 2-1 lead, but the first goal appears not to have counted. So that looks like a 1-1 tie at this point. USN is still on the power play for the next minute 46, but really an incredible burst of speed there.
And there it is again. The USN defense just seems to be caught sleeping sometimes against the counter. Yeah, it's just something that they need to work on mentally, I feel, because they have the physical talent to lock up.
Speaking of being asleep, the scorekeeper has now updated the score once again to match the 2-1 game score. So it is 2-1 Lipscomb with 2:39 remaining. Sorensen's now blistering up the right side, is able to get to the middle, hooked a little bit there, and the putback effort is just narrowly out of the reach of Venable. Oscar now with a shot from the point and forces a cover by the Lipscomb goalie. Minute 15 remaining on the power play here.
Good attack there by USN, really getting to be active around the opposing goalie side.
And just like when you see Randall Leal running up the right side, you know a cross is coming in. When you see Sorensen generating speed up one of the wings, you know something's going to happen. When I say Leal, maybe I should be saying Shaq Moore, new addition to the U.S. men's national team World Cup squad. Venable's pass to Barrett in USN's own zone, gets away from him, but USN still has possession here. Venable looking for another outlet pass, now to Barrett.
Good outlet to Barrett.
4-on-4 here for USN. Barrett looks for Laird in the middle. Still has possession, though. He's met by two Lipscomb defenders in the corner. And a big hit in front of the net. A centering pass to Crane almost ends in a goal, but the shot is wide. Barrett now looking to the point. A wrist shot is deflected, and Lipscomb's able to clear. Venable now with possession, getting pressed very high. And they do force a turnover behind the USN net. A lot of physical defending here. Laird and Crane now up, playing a little offensively.
I like Laird's tenacity this game. Seems to be much more ferocious and physical than it usually is.
As USN penalty expires here, and 1 minute remains in the first period. Barrett's shot is deflected, but Laird is still fighting for it behind the net. Now to the goalie's left, Lipscomb regains possession. Looks like they had numbers up, but Barrett's able to pick the pocket of the Lipscomb attacker. 40 seconds now remain. A nice forecheck of USN's own, but nothing develops of it. Pass through the zone, forces Palmerian to a cover.
Looks like Laird is not only being ferocious and physical, but he's taking advantage of his physical space here at Ford Iceplex. Shout out to Dean Masulo, Dr. Masulo. He's really helped me look at physical spaces in a different way and be more grateful for where I am.
That's well said. We can get into the significance of this space a little later on.
And for those of you who don't know of Dr. Masulo, he's a standout hockey player in high school and college, and he's a standout English teacher as well. Very good teacher of physical space, like Noah said, and very good at speaking Old English.
Anglo-Saxon.
Anglo-Saxon. I mean, if you heard him, it would sound like Greek to you.
And maybe we could get some comments in the chat if anyone's interested in an Anglo-Saxon broadcast coming up. That's something we'd be interested in.
One thing I will say is when I was a sophomore and I heard Dr. Masulo talk about Anglo-Saxon and Middle English and actually speak Anglo-Saxon, I was really impressed and could tell how passionate he was in what he teaches.
That's
People
absolutely
that
true.
Need some passion here, though, is the USN defense. I feel like they've gotten very out of sync in the last few minutes of that period. I mean, this feels like a winnable game to them, but they just something just feels off with them.
And really, they have to play as a cohesive group. They've proven in past games that it really takes the whole team to defend. And as Coach Earl sometimes talks about, defending from the front is not something that necessarily works in this situation because Lipscomb's able to make those passes through the offensive line and generate some really good numbers up opportunities headed the other way. Second period action is about to tip off here.
I will say the food here is, I'm partial to waffle fries. I got waffle fries here, but I think you guys are underestimating the food here. I really like it.
I have something to consider. I did indeed ask for waffle fries. No waffle fries are to be seen. It's really you need to take a comprehensive view. You need to look at every aspect.
Service may need to be worked on, but
Seems like I got the quality of the food down, though.
yeah, the quality I feel is definitely there.
And it is a luxury that we get to eat while commentating this game.
But of course, our priorities
Is the commentator, of course.
yes.
I want to see more attack here from USN to start the second period.
And speaking of priorities, what do you think USN's priority should be to start off this second period?
Like I just said, I would say just more attack and focus on the details. Don't mess up on the little things. Really make sure you get all the little details down, and that'll lead to long-term success.
Absolutely, and that's something Coach Wyatt constantly praises in practice. The idea that small improvements, small good habits do really compound into large successes over time. Just like James Clear writes in Atomic Habits.
Yeah, going off a sort of similar vein as USN is on the counter.
Osner pressures the USN or the Lipscomb goalie here and doesn't quite get the second effort, but the goalie is forced to play the puck, which is not something you see every day.
Back to what I was saying, I would like to see a little more chemistry from the USN team. They started off really well and really well oiled, but it just seems like they've been disconnected and relied on more individual skill rather than building up attack.
I can agree with that, and there are certain lines that I think really stand out, much like the USN line draws a lot of comparisons in my head to the Jofa line back in the day. The Preds, Johansson, Forsberg, and Arvidsson lined. As Lipscomb, on the delayed penalty, takes a shot from the point, and I believe it beats Palmieri in the 5-hole. And Lipscomb takes a 3-1 lead here, a minute and a half into the second period.
Yeah, that's a great shot from Lipscomb's number 48. I mean, yeah, that really was just an amazing individual effort.
And it does look like USN maybe slowed down there a little bit as they saw the ref's arm go up. They saw the delayed penalty. Maybe they thought it was touched up. But, I mean, that's not really a shot you can let get off, especially when it was effectively a 1-on-4 for Lipscomb. So the USN line is out on the ice here after the Lipscomb goal. Nice pass break up on the boards by Crane. But Lipscomb's able to win it back. A turnover in front of Palmieri forces a nice blocker save over the net as Lipscomb generates their 13th shot of the night. Barrett's now headed the other way up the left wing. Makes a nice move to get to his backhand, but the centering pass is intercepted. And while that was a really good idea, there wasn't quite, the USN attack was not quite on the same page. Laird now trying to make an individual move. Puck ends up at Barrett's stick, but it's deflected by the 3 Lipscomb defenders that met him there. Profit now clears into the Lipscomb zone. Laird's forechecking behind the Lipscomb goalie. Barrett and Crane are now up there to help him, but a nice piercing pass through the USN attack that really cost them in the first period was connected on. But still, this energetic USN line is not letting Lipscomb get anything too easy.
This line of Crane, Barrett, and Laird seems to be really effective for USN. You have the speed, the physicality, as well as the technical ability.
And honestly, as this has been a great line, but I'd love to see Sorensen in the mix a little. He's in really good combination with Osgener and Dixon, but maybe some mixing and matching would help. As Lipscomb's forced into a nice defensive play, and the puck falls to Laird just in front of the net. He's able to put it top shelf to bring USN within 1.
Good capitalization on easy opportunities. Laird, found himself just in the right spot at the right time, and he didn't let the moment overcome him.
What was best about that play to me is Laird actually lost the puck and stayed in the right spot, knowing that the play wasn't dead.
Right, and that really kind of developed out of nowhere. It was just a matter of sticking with it. Laird was able to put it top cheddar, as they say.
I actually like those better.
Wagner with a nice outlet pass, but USN doesn't really have numbers up, headed up the left side. Lipscomb's able to use their speed to clear, but it falls to Denning, who's able to get a slap shot off. Venable now opts to drop back here. So Lipscomb has a 2-on-2. A nice hit along the Lipscomb boards. A little bit of a scuffle.
Yeah,
USN's able to get it clear here.
That's some good physicality right in front of the Lipscomb bench.
Denning now with a nice move to the middle, now headed up the right side. Gets a wrist shot off and does force a catch out of the Lipscomb goalie. USN's 12th shot of the night comes at 9:39.
Sports is often very momentum-based, and I think that goal from Laird really energized the team a little bit. They seem to be playing a lot more together and a lot tighter.
Profit now finds Sorensen to the goalie's right. Able to force the goalie into a pad save, and a little bit of a mix-up there, but Lipscomb does come away with it. Dixon now up the right side. Looks for Osgener centrally. Osgener over to Sorensen. Sorensen still with possession. Decides to take it outside of the offensive zone just to keep on to possession. Now head up the right side, building up speed. Beats 2 men. And a incredible move there. Crazy solo goal by Sorensen, who took it all the way out of the zone, back into the zone, up the right side, beat 2 defenders, beats the goalie, and able to get a forehand of his own to tie the game at 3.
For a second, I thought I was watching Pontus Ahlberg there, and then I realized I was watching Hoyt Sorensen. But wow, what a goal!
Yeah, and that's how quick that USN attack can capitalize. Just a lot of individual talent up top, and wow, what a run from Sorensen.
I don't remember the exact opponent, but that does closely resemble the Roman Yossi goal from a year or 2 ago. Headed across the face of goal after beating 2 defenders, generating a wide open goal for himself. And that was really a fantastic solo effort. Icing is waved off, and USN's able to take possession. But a little bit of a mix-up at the blue line here. Laird now looks for Barrett, but the pass gets away from him. Lipscomb makes a nice piercing pass through the blue line. And Palmieri makes a nice chest glove save at 8:21.
Very Patrick Mahomes-esque, I feel, on that run from Sorensen. It seemed like nothing was happening. It seemed like he was just scrambling, looking for space, and then all of a sudden, he capitalized.
And unfortunately, Lipscomb defense did resemble the Titans defense on Sunday Night Football. They just couldn't handle it.
On what was it, 3rd and 17 when Mahomes ran for like 20?
And maybe like this goal, that was a game-changing event. I honestly think that was the single biggest play of the game. Barrett now with a nice individual move of his own. Looks for the sending pass to Laird, as he has multiple times tonight. Venables able to keep it in. A really nice play there. Now dumps it in for Laird, who's applying some pressure. Barrett's there to help him out. Defender does make a nice move to get it out, though. Lipscomb now with a 2-on-1 here. Looks for this centering pass, but it's off the side of the goal. Laird's now headed the other way up the right side. He's kind of by himself here, so it'd take a really incredible move. So does a good job to keep possession, but it is eventually taken away by the 4 Lipscomb defenders. Lipscomb now with an individual effort of their own up the other side. A deflection nearly on goal, but it's off the side. Now with the wraparound, just narrowly stays out of the net. Palmieri does not look concerned, though. Centering pass is deflected by the ref. Lipscomb is not happy with that, but that was a nice pass break up there. Laird's able to get it clear, and he's able to get off the ice for a change. Now a wrist shot here for Lipscomb. Another shot into Palmieri's chest.
I feel this ref could do a little more in avoiding the puck and not interfering. He seems just very static.
Yeah, maybe he forgets his playing days are not now, you know? Maybe he thinks he's involved in the play when maybe he shouldn't be.
Fortunately, USN caught a break there, though.
Lipscomb now wins the face-off after Palmieri covers, and Palmieri covers once again. Pretty uneventful shot from the point.
One thing I will say is this is when Palmieri seems to be at his best. Now that USN's back in the game, I would not be confident shooting on Palmieri if I was Lipscomb, Ensworth, Nolensville.
In fact, I would avoid it altogether. And Palmieri's in his stalwart mode. Profit now with a pretty nice job to generate a shot. Lipscomb had his teammates pretty well covered, but able to force the goalie into a glove save.
Hopefully USN can take a lead here towards the end of the second.
So it has been quite an even game so far. Lipscomb has not had quite as dominant an attack here in the second period. They've generated their chances, but Paul Mary's done a great job of shutting those down quickly. Prophet's able to clear up the right side. And now Denning on the forecheck, who looks like he's playing in a little more of an attacking role here tonight. Sorensen now on the ice for the first time in a few minutes. Now forechecking by himself, but Dixon's there to help out. Now Osgner's there to help out. And a really nicely developed forecheck here. Turns into a nice turnover. Osgner still fighting for it behind the net. Nice physical play to regain possession. Looks for the centering pass to Sorensen, who incredibly keeps it in the zone.
Osner calling for it.
And the centering pass to Osgner just nearly gets deflected. Osgner now beats one man and lays a pretty nice hit there in the offensive zone. And USN on a pretty good stretch here. As I say that, looks like a pretty costly turnover. Gives Lipscomb the opportunity for a centering pass, but Palmieri is there once again to cover.
Good solid goalkeeping from Palmieri, the veteran.
And they were at the doorstep there. That was a really surprising opening.
Jordan's looking like Taron Johnson at the end of that Chiefs game when he picked off Mahomes to win the game.
Now, how about Taron Johnson? I feel like he's one of the very underrated cornerbacks in the league right now.
For sure.
You've got to wonder at what point will Lipscomb start looking for the Gabe Davis deep ball, because they really just can't break Palmieri down. They need something a little unexpected. Looks like the ref here with another deflection, I believe. USN's now headed the other way. Sorensen, nice move towards the middle. There are three defenders there to tap it away. Lipscomb now has a man-up advantage headed the other way. Osgner, Laird, and Dixon now on the attack. Osgner's nearly able to get a shot off. Now Venable at the point, puts it on net. Osgner now with it behind the net, looks for a wraparound. And a decent effort there on net. A turnover to Osgner in front of the net again. Forces a pretty good save there out of the goalie. And just like some of USN's turnovers earlier, that could have been a very costly one. As Lipscomb's headed the other way, and up the left side, a surprising backhand just narrowly sneaks in.
Yeah, it seems like they found their Gabe Davis deep ball.
They absolutely did there. They were able to use their speed up the left side, just narrowly sneak it in between Palmieri and the post.
That puck was actually finished, unlike Gabe Davis catching the ball on a perfect dot after an injured Josh Allen throw. Yeah.
In sports, it's always imperative that you finish through. You know?
And really, there are duplicable events throughout sports. As we've seen, there are multiple comparisons drawn just from Sunday. We do have an official timeout here, as on Lipscomb's attack, the ref did have a little bit of a wipeout. Looks like he's just resetting here a little. So a timeout for both teams with 3:45 remaining.
Yeah, and a player that I've seen a lot during this game for USN is Abby Wagner, and shouts out to her for being the only female on the ice, in a male-dominated sport. She probably takes a lot of inspiration from lots of role models. I would like to officially say on the air, free Brittany Grimer, #FBG. And I think that it's very good that we're seeing a lot more female power in sports.
Couldn't agree more.
It's well said. So it hasn't been the perfect night for USN thus far. 23 shots against, 4 goals against, 19 saves for Palmieri, who's had a pretty good game thus far. I mean, he's had some really tough chances against him. as he does talk with Coach VJ at this unexpected pause here in the second period. As Noah mentioned, he does only eat breakfast some mornings, and you said blueberry muffins, correct? So that is something that I also discuss with him. I just talk about his pregame routine, his rituals, what he's thinking, what he's doing, how he's preparing, and it's really a pretty interesting stretch. When he gets home from school, the first thing he does is he boots up his Xbox. He plays at least an hour and a half of Call of Duty. Just get his mind off things, refocus. Typically eats some toaster waffles about 2 hours before puck drop. Gets to his homework, does some stretching, often goes for a swim, get in the right mindset, and then watches some Bills highlights just minutes before puck drop.
Yeah,
So he's in the right mood.
I hear Kyler Murray does that a lot too for his pregame routine. Goes home, plays Call of Duty, watches some highlights of other teams, and then he calls it a day.
Yeah, and
taking some inspiration from the pros.
yeah, and you've got to wonder at what point will the coaches start putting a limit on how much Call of Duty Jordan can play. Does he need to be watching more film? I don't think so personally, as he has said on multiple occasions that he watches 6 hours plus. But that is besides the point.
Is that a day or a week?
A day. Normally per opponent.
Well, when I was playing, I was watching like 8 hours plus.
Yeah, well,
So
I mean, playing in the pros like you and playing in high school.
It's a little bit different.
I mean, USN kind of makes that barrier a little unclear, but play is now resuming here as puck dribbles behind the USN net. Laird now with possession in the middle. A great outlet pass to Barrett here. Was a one-on-one with the goalie. And a nice shot. Ties the game at 4. A fantastic pass by Laird. Barrett's able to beat the goalie on his blocker side. And just like that, 3 minutes remaining in the second. That's a 4-4 tie.
I think this is Barrett's best performance on the season. I've been following him throughout the game. He seems to be in every chance that USN's had and finally capitalized on a goal right there.
And honestly, to me, that's the second SportsCenter top 10 play of the night. I mean, of course, Sorensen with an incredible goal, but Laird with a fantastic pass, and Barrett with the composure to put it away.
yeah, you can't underestimate the vision of Laird.
Also a tough angle to score on.
Yeah, as the Lipscomb defender was closing in very nicely there. Lipscomb now with a shot from the point. Palmieri parries it aside. But a lot of people surrounding Palmieri. A little bit of a screen there. Puck is now sent behind the net. Up to the blue line for Lipscomb. Now to Palmieri's left. Looking for the centering pass, but it's deflected. Now outside of the USN defensive zone. Osgner and Sorensen on the forecheck. Sorensen playing pretty physically to win possession back. He has Dixon in the middle.
Good defending there from Sorensen.
Osgner to his left. But it is broken up. But Dixon sticks with it. Looks for the centering pass to Osgner or Sorensen, but it is not quite made. Venable now with a nice individual defensive play. Hit it up the boards to Osgner. He's able to get it into the offensive zone. What I've seen multiple times tonight, especially from Sorensen, Osgner, Dixon, there's not always a lot of help as they enter the offensive zone. They're expected to do a lot on their own.
It may be just a defensive mindset that coaches instill in his team.
Very well could be, as USN is getting outshot by 10, but it does feel like a very close game, a game of inches. Lipscomb now with an opportunity from the point, and a little bit of a mix-up in front of the net, but Palmieri is able to set it aside. Another shot. Venable now has it behind the net. Up the right boards. Wagner's there to help out, and Venable's able to get it clear. Denning now with the puck. A nice cross-ice pass there to Venable, who's now on the attack. and is taken away. Venable will probably look for a change here as he's been on the ice for quite a bit. We have a stoppage here with 38 seconds remaining in the period.
Yeah, this is shaping up to be a really tight game. I think it's going to come down to the wire.
Definitely a nail biter. I will say I would love to see Paul Mary lay out one of these people pretty soon here, as his vision's being blocked almost every time Lipscomb, Ensworth, Nolensville is on the attack.
And as calm of a person he is, just like Pekka Rinne, I mean, Rinne had his moments. You know, he was not afraid to lay the boom. He was not afraid to hit someone if it started interfering with his goaltending play, you know?
And I know Rinne is one of Paul Mary's idols, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see one here.
Absolutely. Barrett now generates another turnover. The deflection gets to Crane, but Lipscomb now has a 3-on-2 headed the other way. Headed up the right side. Profits there. And the puck, wow, just sneaks through Paul Mary, but it's cleared from the blue ice with just seconds remaining as time in the second period expires.
Yeah, a great clearance there from the USN defender.
As Paul Mary, I think, believed he had it, and a great heads-up play there to follow the shot. It was just sitting in the blue ice, in the crease. Was it Profit that was able to get it clear? I could not tell,
I
but
believe it was Barrett. No, sorry, it was it Wagner? I think it was Wagner, number 11.
Yeah, well, this is shaping up to be a really tight game. I don't know, this just feels like one of those nights.
any
have a
bold
feeling.
predictions for the third?
Bold predictions. I think if USN can keep their attack going, they'll find a way to win. They usually come out strong in the later periods. They have a lot of individual talent, regardless of what happens up top, regardless of what happens. And I think this team just finds a way to win sometimes. The Lipscomb team, they have a lot of solid players, but most of the opportunities have come off more counterattacks. I think as the game goes on, you see a lot less of those because the USN defense gets more settled in.
As USN proved in the Lipscomb game, period to period, it can be a completely different feel. You know, the second period was dominated by, it was the Father Ryan game, where the second period was dominated by Father Ryan, but besides that, it seemed like a very even game. So despite USN being pretty controlling in the second, you really never know how the third period's going to open up.
Got two golden helmets out here. Yeah, hopefully USN isn't intimidated by these,
including one for
superior
USN.
players.
Your play does begin here in the third period. Lipscomb wins the face-off. USN's able to get it clear with Sorensen, with Osgner to his right. Sorensen does a good job of hanging on to it for that long, but a pretty physical play by the Lipscomb defense. Clear behind the net, collected by Venable, but Venable's not on the same page as the attack, so he's not quite able to get the clearing pass. Sorensen's now streaking up the left side. Let's see if Venable can find him. He's able to. Lipscomb's quickness is kind of showing here, as Sorensen did have a bit of an opportunity, but a really nice catch-up by the Lipscomb defense. Osgner now headed into the offensive zone on the right side, able to cut to his preferred left hand, and the shot does go just to the goalie's right.
Good opportunity there from Osgner.
It was a nice individual effort to generate a shot. Lipscomb's now able to get it clear. One-on-one, Venable's back. And they're able to generate a very nice backhand. A big save there by Palmieri. And a really powerful backhand, a quick move. Venable was there, but a really nice opportunity. Now a toe drag by Lipscomb. He's able to get into the zone. Like somewhat of a slide tackle. An incredible stick work by Lipscomb. And the shot does go up into the netting.
Incredible hit by Laird, too.
Yeah, he seemed a little bothered by that toe drag. And he's still talking after the play.
Looked like he got tripped by number 8 it was. I think he thought 8 was intentionally laying on the ice to trip him.
To me, that resembled the well-known RG3 forward slide, the head-first slide that caused so many fumbles in his career. I mean, this guy fell over, and he's just kind of waiting, you know? Right now, if Laird headed the other way, Crane in the middle, 2 Lipscomb defenders in front of him. He's able to get it to Crane, but Crane is forced into the corner. Gets it to Barrett behind the net. Looks for the centering pass. Laird does have some space there in the middle, but Barrett does a nice job to hold on to it. And still USN has possession.
Barrett's playing with a lot of tenacity in this last period.
And some very nice stick work by him as well. Lipscomb's finally able to get it clear. Prophet looks back up ice, but it's intercepted. Barrett once again with the possession. Takes behind Palmieri, fakes out the defender. And looks for Laird, nearly connects on the outlet pass. There wasn't a whole lot there, but a nice vision there. And this USN line has been on the ice for quite a bit, as Barrett has to take it behind Palmieri, sends it to Crane up the left side. Barrett looks for the change. As Lipscomb has committed a lot of men forward here, USN may be able to catch them out. Headed up the left side. Dixon waits for the puck in the middle, but it's not quite to him. Prophet now back, but Lipscomb is forced to clear behind him. No icing call here.
Osgener and Sorensen now on the ice for USN. Dangerous attack.
So Osgener has a 1-on-4 here. Let's see if he can turn this into anything. He's able to dump it in behind the net. Does buy a little bit of the time for his teammates to get up there, but they're not quite there in time. Lipscomb now using their speed up the right side. Move towards the middle. Gets the wrist shot off. Palmieri makes a nice pad save to deflect it to the side. And we do have a boarding call here. And it looks like a bad hit.
I think he may have landed his head on the board.
I don't think Prophet meant to hit him that hard.
No, really just an unfortunate play. Lipscomb player does have his head up, talking to the training staff. It's a really scary looking hit.
Yeah, I feel just a very unfortunate play. I don't think it was all that dirty, but it seems like it just landed weird on the board. It's good to see that he's responsive.
Prayers up to him.
Yeah, you never like to see that, especially in a close game like this. He's been playing well too.
The player is back on his feet. That's a very good sight to see. He's able to skate off without any assistance by the training staff. As of course the crowd is very happy to see that. Here with 10 minutes remaining in the third period. We're still tied 4-4. believe seems like Prophet was ejected from the game. And we have a 5-minute penalty coming up. So this is quite a challenge for USN.
It's a hard
And
decision for the ref to make. I don't think Prophet got a lot of him, but obviously with what happened, you got to do that to the player.
and we do have Wagner serving. And was it number 8 that was down for Lipscomb?
I believe so.
And he is back out on the ice here.
Yeah, I mean, hockey's a physical sport. I don't know. I feel it's a bit of a harsh call from the ref. Obviously, you never want to see that happen to a player, but it didn't seem like it was too dirty of a hit, at least from where we're standing.
And to me, that's just an opportunity for USN to work on their penalty kill. Got 4.5 minutes here. It comes at a tough time in the game, but in case anything happens, there's still time to make up for it.
Yeah, well, it'll definitely be big in changing the complexion of the game.
As we have Sorensen here up the right side, as one Lipscomb defender in front of him, able to get a shot off. It's just deflected wide, and it looked like that was nearly on net. Lipscomb now using their speed. A 3-on-2 go headed the other way. And a last-ditch effort by Venable confuses the attacker just enough that he whiffs on the shot.
Paul Mary's been in these situations. He was born for moments like these.
Absolutely. 4 minutes remain on the Lipscomb penalty. 8:45 remaining in the game. Lipscomb's now head up the right side. A nice fake, but Paul Mary's able to protect for the wraparound. 48 makes a nice move off left side. Centering pass just narrowly gets away. And he did have a little bit of goal to shoot at, but Paul Mary was able to get across. He was there. But Lipscomb generating some really nice, sustained pressure here. Paul Mary with a really nice glove save there. Resembled Townsend Stevenson, standing up. Easy baseball-looking catch,
This penalty is really hurting the USN defense right now. I mean, it's the free man for the Lipscomb offense. It's gonna be hard for USN to break this penalty.
Yeah. Looks like under 3.5 minutes to go for the power play.
I think both teams know how pivotal this 5 minutes is, so they're acting like it. Lipscomb's really playing aggressively here. USN's hunkering down. Venable has possession just behind Paul Mary, but possession is taken back off of Paul Mary's mask, it seems, and USN's able to get it clear.
Paul Mary looks tired.
I think less tired, more prepared. He's just trying to watch the play, predict what's going to happen next. As a successful forecheck by Crane and Sorensen nicely takes a few seconds off of this penalty. Sorensen's still fighting for it up there.
Sergei Kositsyn-like.
And maybe we'll get an Austin Watson-like play coming up here on the penalty kill. As I say that, Paul Mary makes a really nice pad save, deflects it to the left, as Lipscomb had a 3-on-2 and takes the first shot they had. Sorensen now comes away with possession from the corner. Has Crane to his right, but Crane opts for the line change, which I think is a good choice here with 2 minutes remaining on the penalty. And the shot that Sorensen was able to get off looks like it was covered by the goalie, but no whistle was blown, so Lipscomb still has possession. And they're headed the other way. Now cut across the middle, now up the right side. Venable and Barrett are there to slow him down. Able to get the centering pass off, though. But a nice stick by Venable to get the puck back and get it clear. It was a really nice defensive play there. And the penalty is now down to 1:30 remaining.
Yeah, I like seeing Venable on this line for USN when they're a man down.
Really, on this four-man unit, Venable's the guy you gotta have on the ice. Another play by Venable to get it clear.
Venable just doing everything with his defense right now. Much needed.
as USN's able to get a line change here. They could have gotten caught out if Lipscomb was a little quicker moving the puck up the ice. And a nice individual effort for Lipscomb to get a shot off, but Palmieri stays tight to his post and a nice toe save. Lipscomb now with a slap shot. It's deflected wide.
Great block by Osner there.
And Osner still playing aggressively. Almost able to get it out to Laird. But after committing 2 men forward, Lipscomb had a man-up advantage there. As Osner has an opportunity to send Laird through, and Laird is now behind the Lipscomb goal. Few defenders around him, but they are able to catch back up. Lipscomb once again headed the other way with a 3-on-3. Able to use their speed. Nice save by Palmieri there. Puck is sent the other way once again. 15 seconds remaining. Osner's aggressively on the forecheck. Laird's there to help him out. The Lipscomb, but the Lipscomb goalie did handle that pretty well. Laird's still playing pretty aggressively here. Nice toe drag by Lipscomb to keep possession. But Venable's able to gain possession. Palmieri's left. And once again able to get it clear as the penalty expires. And Venable was able to force the goalie into a cover, sending it all the way, the distance of the ice. And Sorensen did a good job to get on the end of that as well.
Extremely impressive performance by USN's defense right there. Those last 5 minutes were not easy.
That was really a team effort. Everyone was back defending. Everyone was clearing the puck. Everyone was forechecking.
Yeah.
Palmieri was making saves.
Might go overlooked in the stat sheet, but that really was an important 5 minutes of play there.
Coach has got to be thrilled with that.
And as penalty kills have been somewhat of an issue this season, that's a huge positive. We now have just over 4.5 minutes remaining in regulation. Score remains 4-4. Venable gets a shot off, forcing the goalie into a nice glove save. That was headed towards the top corner, but wasn't tested too badly. USN now has another face-off in the offensive zone, now from the left circle.
Yeah, even numbers is really going to help USN a lot, I feel, going forward.
And as Jim Harbaugh would say, where there's a will, there's a way. I think USN really has been showing their will in this game, and it's given them an opportunity to win this game late.
And against a really tough team, they've stacked up very well. Honestly, I think it's going to be next team to just take advantage of their chances, because the chances will be there in the final 4 minutes of regulation.
You know, Jim Harbaugh's story is really interesting, going from the Niners, then getting fired and now having a home in Michigan. Really kind of an odd story, but he's making it work. Yeah.
Maybe he had a will, and that's why there was a way, his career path. Osner's fighting for possession at mid-ice. Dixon and Venable are there to help him out, but Lipscomb ends up with possession. They have a 3-on-2 here. Palmieri with a pad save, able to deflect it behind the net. Laird's now with possession behind Palmieri, able to get it clear up to Osner, is able to get it out of the defensive zone. USN does seem to be on their heels a little bit here, as they're forced to clear with Lipscomb's pretty convincing forecheck. So they're able to turn over Venable. But once again, Venable makes a nice defensive play. Oscar's not quite able to get the clearing pass to Laird, but even if he were, there were no numbers there. Another nice solo move by 48, able to force Palmieri into yet another save. His 28th of the night. Pass across at the blue line. An odd bounce in front of net. Venable's not quite able to clear. Laird now out at the blue line, trying to block the shot. Palmieri makes his 29th save of the night. Pretty routine save there, but these chances are looking as high quality as they did on the power play for Lipscomb.
I know as a goalie, it's not easy playing all the minutes of these games, especially when it's close towards the end. You got to be clutch. Jordan's been clutch so far.
He's doing a great job of staying focused in such a high-paced game. Lipscomb now with possession behind Palmieri. We have a whistle blown after a pretty nice centering pass. Maybe a penalty call coming up here.
Is it goalie interference by number 10?
I think instead the ref is pointing to... Not sure what the call was, but we have a face-off now outside of the defensive zone. USN's now headed up the left side. That's a decent shot off there from a really tight angle. Does Sorensen. Barrett and Sorensen now on the forecheck. Lipscomb's able to get it clear to mid-ice, now headed up the right side. But USN has numbers. Denning looks up ice for Barrett. But it's intercepted. Barrett goes for the hit. Now Crane follows up with a nice hit into the boards. Sorensen now fighting for it on the left side. Takes it out of USN's defensive zone. Not quite able to beat his defender.
No time to be lackadaisical for USN here.
Right, as 2 minutes remain. Barrett makes a very nice solo move and a fantastic goal. Barrett once again gets it onto his forehand, finishes in the top corner, gives USN the 5-4 lead with a minute 48 remaining.
Barrett with an MVP-like performance here tonight, really showing how much his will really is to win this game.
Just
What a
yet
great
another
goal.
play.
Connecting with Crane too on that little push pass. Wow. I mean, we're in for a treat here.
Uses his speed, turn the corner, then get it onto his forehand. Top right corner.
Yeah. And in games like these, really tight, close games where it goes down to the wire, it's about, whether who has that X factor.
It's who?
And I think USN has found, a new X factor in Barrett today.
And they've got enough depth in their attack that people are more than capable of making big plays like that. As we have a timeout here for Lipscomb with a minute 48.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a media timeout, a Lipscomb timeout, or a USN timeout, but I know the USN coach right now is telling them that the game's not over and to not give up. I mean, these are the times where you just have to stay solid in order to come out with a W.
And for me, the message is keep playing how you've been playing. I mean, Palmieri's been tested, but generally it's been a very solid period. Despite that 5-minute penalty kill, they've handled it very well.
There's nothing better than taking off those goalie pads after a win. I think Palmieri is envisioning that right now.
But you can't count your wins before you get them, I feel like.
Yeah.
And this team, they start slow sometimes, but they have to learn how to close out games. And right now they're going to be tested because this Lipscomb attack is hungry.
And this is somewhat of an unfamiliar situation, as they're such a strong offensive team, likely drawing up a play with a minute 48 remaining. It's going to be tough to handle, but I think they're more than capable.
And to be quite honest, I don't think Lipscomb was expecting this from USN. I mean, I think that they thought this would be not an easy game, but not too hard of a game.
My league sources were saying that, this was kind of chalked up to a W for Lipscomb, among many.
I like this line from USN. Laird up top, along with Osgener. Very physical, defendable in the back as well.
Play resumes with a nice shot there by Lipscomb from the point, directly down the middle. As Lipscomb now pulls their goalie. A little bit of an awkward bounce in front of Palmieri, but Venable is able to gain possession. Lipscomb with a very strong forecheck here. Laird's tripped up a little bit. Barrett now sends it behind Palmieri. Osgener's there to look for the clear. But again, this forecheck is making it very tough to get the puck out. Now a shot from Palmieri's left, looking for the top corner. It is deflected just wide. Laird and Osgener now on the attack, looking for the open goal. Venable now fighting for it at mid-ice. USN can't overcommit here. Despite the empty net on the other end, they've got to be conscious of this Lipscomb attack, which is now about to generate another chance. Deflection in front of Palmieri, and he's able to fall on it. That resembled the first goal of the night for Lipscomb, as that pass across took an awkward deflection. Well, Palmieri did a very good job to read that and fall on it with 45 seconds remaining.
Reminded me of Jonathan Quick right there, a goalie who would get in these aggressive positions and then somehow come back to make an amazing save like Palmieri did right there.
Yeah, the USN defense has to calm down for those last seconds. I feel like they're getting very rushed, but you have to stay calm in these situations.
And we now have the face-off to Palmieri's left. USN's able to win it. Oscar now looking for the clear. And he's able to send it down ice, but it is just to the right of the goal. So Lipscomb touches up for icing. Now 36 seconds remain.
One extra man here on Lipscomb's attack.
USN once again wins the face-off in their own defensive zone. Barrett looks for the clear, and he's able to get out of the zone. 30 seconds remain here. Osgner is strong on the forecheck. Crane and Sorensen now help out. And a backwards pass by Lipscomb sends them all the way back, nearly behind their goal with now 18 seconds remaining. Osgner now able to win possession from a tight angle, almost puts it in the goal. Now with 10 seconds remaining, Lipscomb's headed the other way. Pass up the right side. Venable's able to win possession, now taking it behind Palmieri. 2 seconds remaining. Venable's nearly able to clear, and time expires. USN holds on for an incredible 5-4 win as the team swarms Palmieri.
What a win here for USN. What a way to finish it off. No person I trust more on defense than Nick Venable right there.
An extremely exciting third period. Just a great team performance.
USN really overcame a lot of adversity there from the penalty, and then holding down for those last few minutes with the man down as Lipscomb pulled their keeper.
And you've got to think, after Lipscomb's 36 shots, they think they deserve this win, but USN made the plays, and they were very strong on defense. Palmieri did more than what was expected of him, kept USN in this game, and Barrett made a fantastic play to give USN the 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, man of the night, definitely Barrett, for sure.
That does take us into our 3 stars of the night.
Yeah, I mean, Barrett, he played, amazing, obviously throughout the game with that final goal. We just capitalized on an opportunity. Played well in the defending too, those very last few minutes. And it seems like he's been more of a role player throughout the season, but it seems like USN has really found a new option to go to.
So my pick of the night for my second star is who else but Hoyt Sorensen. Even when he wasn't putting the puck in the back of the net, he was generating some much-needed chances, able to use his speed up both the right and left side. And when USN's attack struggled to find multiple options, he was able to generate some chances of his own. Doesn't matter. So your star.
And for my star of the night, I got to give it to Venable. When USN needed him most to play defense, he was stout, stalwart, and he got the puck out when we needed it. So really impressive performance from USN tonight. And
I might as well throw a 4th star in there. I mean, Jordan Palmieri, once again, played a very complete game. After sitting out of Monday's game, it wasn't the easiest change, but against a very good offensive team, he made some much-needed saves, especially in the closing minutes and on that penalty kill. When the team was facing the most adversity, he was making the biggest plays.
Yeah. It's an important game for USN because I feel like throughout the season they've had either very easy wins or really lopsided losses. And they found a way to win a tight one and a one where they faced a lot of adversity and they overcame it. This shows a lot of resilience from the USN team. And it's a promising sign for the season.
2 wins in the week as well. Hopefully they can build off these 2 wins.
What a week.
I think the Tigers coach is going to be happy with his team tonight and looking forward to the next.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that was a good full hockey game. I feel, we appreciated you listening. All 6 of you out there. But we hope to see you even more in person at these games because they really are exciting. I'm Noah Kim.
I'm Bennett.
And I'm Noah Spiegel.
And thank you for listening, and have a good night.